Hey, what's up, guys? Spencer here with Plant Powered Marketing, and today we have Heather from over at Sky Air Conditioning, correct?
Sky heating and air conditioning.
Sky Heating and Air Conditioning. So tell me, what is it you guys do?
We do heating, air conditioning, duct work, and duct sealing.
Right on. And how long have you guys been in business?
We've been in business 41 years. Last year we went private label, so we actually sell Sky Heating Signature Series equipment. I've been with the company for 5 years and going strong.
Right on. And I think you previously mentioned that you're the CFO of the company?
Yes, I'm the CFO of the company.
Right on. And where are you guys located?
We're in Tualatin, Oregon, and we also have a second location in the Dalles.
Right on. So you guys service, for the most part, it sounds like probably the whole Portland metro area, as well as the gorge being like Hood River and the Dalles?
Correct.
Perfect. Cool. And a little birdie told me that you also own some other businesses. So tell me about your other business adventures.
We do. We have another secondary company, Travis and I do, where we do small level business consulting and help with financial management. That seems to be a really big issue in the trades, is proper accounting for finances. And without proper financials, you end up not being able to accurately measure your key performance indicators because the data is invalid. So we help a lot with that through the consulting business, and then we have several real estate holdings companies.
Right on. And do you guys, is that the only business adventure? Because I remember you telling me you're a serial entrepreneur.
Well, with real estate, yes.
Okay. Do you have some
definitely a workaholic. That's my hobby, is working.
Working. Well, I'm right there along with you. So I'm curious, because we're in these very strange times right now, like how has COVID affected all your guys' businesses?
On the heating and air conditioning side, it's been affected good and bad. We had our largest month ever in company history in June, but we've seen a lot of differences in the needs of our customers. So even though we're still very profitable and we're selling, the needs of the customers have changed. People are working home, so they're putting more tax on their air conditioning system, especially since it's gotten hot. And so when you have more people that are in the home and the air conditioners working harder to keep the home heat and cooled, we've seen a lot more breakdowns.
Yeah.
We've had a lot more tech turnover leads than we've seen ever in the past. So that's a good thing. The downside was we lay off a good portion of our staff the month of April, which was really hard. We tried very hard never to lay anyone off, and having to lay off pretty much our entire staff was emotionally devastating to the management team.
Yeah,
with the consulting business. Sorry?
I said, yeah, there's a lot of families being affected when that type of stuff happens, and nobody wants to do that, unfortunately. And there's probably a lot of just relationships you guys have had for so many years, because from my understanding from conversations with you, you guys had some very long-term employees.
Our longest employee has been here 37 years, but most employees have been here over 10 years. And when you lay somebody off, that really affects their ability to provide for their family. So that was a really difficult decision that we didn't have a choice to make, because when everything first blew up with COVID, nobody knew enough to know what was safe and what wasn't safe. And so everybody just kind of retracted out of the market.
Yeah.
And it was scary. On the real estate side, the rent moratoriums were put in place. We were a little nervous about that, but when Travis and I started buying real estate, we made a conscious decision not to buy in Multnomah County.
Yeah.
So we bought in the outskirt areas that we've had much more success with people paying their rent on time. We've only had a couple of tenants out of the 35 doors that we have down south. We had 3 tenants who didn't pay their rent, but we're getting that worked out with them now. And we haven't had to evict, or we can't evict anyone, but we don't have anybody that we're planning to evict.
Well, that's good, because like from what I was going to be seeing, I was expecting just it was going to affect one side or the other. Like, obviously I felt, I didn't think that it was going to be able to be worked out a lot with a lot of landlords because it's such a bad situation. I mean, I think a lot of people, the homeless rate has probably increased a ton because people can't provide. And so that's good to hear that from a landlord perspective, you guys have been able to work it out with your tenants, so they have a home to stay in, as well as you guys are getting your money that you guys deserve as well. So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, we obviously still have to pay the mortgage, so we were happy that we were able to work with our tenants. I think a lot of tenants, when the rent moratorium went into place, I don't think that they truly understood that the rent was still going to be due. It wasn't free rent.
Oh God.
And so we tried to be proactive on that part, with our property management companies, letting tenants know, like, this isn't, you get free rent. It'll be due at a later date. And I think that was helpful.
Yeah.
With the consulting business and trying to help some of our trade partner friends, it's been difficult because we can't travel.
Yeah. And like the virtual piece of that, it just is probably too time consuming for them to share, like, hey, this is what we do on the accounting side. Hey, this is what we do on the book side. You can't really do that through Zoom calls, can you? It just makes it too clunky.
It is, but it makes it too clunky. It's much easier and much more efficient to be sitting next to somebody and going through different issues than it is to try and share screens and explain what's understood and what's not understood, so that I know how best to assist somebody.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Because, and it's also, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it kind of an intimate type of thing too? I mean, like if I'm going to hire your company to come in and take a look at my books, I kind of want to have a little bit better of a relationship than just this computer thing, I think, right?
Very much so. Very much so. And there's a lot that, when you're in someone else's work setting where you're seeing them work, for the few days that we'll go down and visit, you see a lot more than you do over a Zoom call.
Yeah. Especially with you can tell a lot by how the employees are acting around management or the ownership. You can tell just the morale of the whole place, and you can start to probably figure out what some of the problems are even before you even open the books, right?
Yeah, funny you should say that, because in consulting, what your client believes their problem is rarely what their problem is.
Yeah, true, right? What do you usually find? Like, give us an example.
One of our clients, they thought that their biggest issue was that they didn't know how to utilize ServiceTitan.
And that's a CRM software you guys use?
Yeah, it's a CRM software that communicates with QuickBooks, but what the real issue was processes and procedures. It wasn't that they didn't know how to use the software, it's that they didn't have the right processes and procedures in place to know what to do with the information.
Yeah. And honestly, I've worked with lists in the past. I work with a lot of lists currently with my clients. And even if the smallest, like I'm shocked actually by some people's list that I'll pull that they'll send over to me. And like a list I used yesterday was 99% of it was correct. Only like one or two they had mislabeled. It was actually like an electrical service call and a plumbing one that was mislabeled as HVAC, right? But that's pretty dang accurate when you probably have a lot of people with their hands in there. But I've seen lists where it's like, you can't even tell what the heck's happening. So if you're not inputting stuff correctly, and then you're trying to expect the correct results to spit out the other end, it's definitely not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's usually what we find is, and it's easy when you get in there and you're seeing them doing their daily workflow, and you can point out like, hey, why did you just do that? And then they either don't know why they just did it, somebody told them to do it, and then just they don't have an answer, and it becomes like, okay, let's talk about this for a second. Like, does it make
sense?
Yeah, it's that stop, start, keep doing, and then breakthroughs. Why, if you can't have a legitimate reason for why you're doing something, then hey, let's talk about it. Is there a better way to do it?
Yeah, for sure. Um, so switching gears here, because the one thing that we like to do is we like to get people that come on the podcast to share a little bit about their personal life and what they're into, because I'm a big fan of humanizing the brand. So is there some hobbies that you do? I mean, I know you tell me that you're just a workaholic. I know you work hours like I do, but when you do have a second of free time, is there some hobbies that you guys enjoy doing, like you and your husband, or just you?
We love to go wine tasting, and we have some friends who own a winery outside of Oregon City that produces some of the best Pinot that we've ever had. And
Nice.
so uh, they have 80 acres of property, on the vineyard, and we love to go out there and go hiking
Okay.
and just spend the day out there. It's just like going to visit friends and sitting outside with a beautiful view and enjoying the latest wine that they've released
Yeah.
is a big fun thing that we do. I don't collect things, but I do collect wine. I have a pretty big wine collection. And
Do you have a cellar, like a temperature controlled cellar?
I don't have a temperature controlled cellar because I don't really find that I need it.
Because it's not around that long.
No, I've got quite a big collection, but the wine does okay. I keep my house at 65, so
Okay.
it does fine. I love to sew. I love to can food. I like to grow my own food and can my own food.
Nice. What are you growing right now?
Peppers and tomatoes right now. I used to do a lot of basil. I am too busy right now this year with other things that we have going on and how busy Sky Heating's been. But last weekend I made jalapeno jam, and the weekend before I candied jalapenos. So
Nice.
that's been
Jalapenos that you guys grew?
some that we grew, but we didn't have enough to yield 6 pounds yet.
Yeah, that's
So
cool. Yeah, we just actually got our garden in here a few weeks ago, right before our heat wave that we've had, which is probably, you guys are probably really enjoying with your one aspect of your business, right?
yes, yes.
But yeah, we just got our garden in. Things are starting to really come about, and the herbs are popping, and got some little cherry tomatoes that are green on the vine. So we're getting pretty excited to actually start to have a little bounty of a harvest there coming up. So
Yeah, that's always fun going out at the end of the day and picking vegetables.
yeah, like I like to go out there. I don't know, kind of like right before dinner to kind of figure out like, okay, what do we got that we can use, and then just be able to like, if it's lettuce or whatever, like, okay, cool, we're gonna do salad at night. Well, cut it, wash it, ready to go. Like that's really how we probably all should be eating as humans, but if you can, right? Because there's a lot of people that live in the city that don't have a way to grow a garden. But wine tasting, obviously, you live in an amazing part of the country in order to have that as a hobby, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Some of the
We
best
just took
wines
our
for it.
leadership team wine tasting 2 weeks ago, and it was a blast.
That sounds dangerous. Hey,
Oh,
way to go be leadership here. Did you limit the wine or no?
oh, absolutely. Yeah, we limited the wine, but it was a fun treat for the leadership team. We've been through a lot the last couple of months, and
Yeah.
thankfully, April 27th, we were able to bring back 100% of our staff, and we've hired an additional several, I think 4 or 5 people since we brought our regular staff back in April. So
That's amazing. So all those folks, going back to the previous story, that all that you had to lay off for due to COVID, you're able to bring them all back.
yeah, we laid them all, not all the employees. We kept 1 install crew and 2 service techs. We laid off about 75% of our staff on March 27th and hired them back April 27th.
That is awesome. Like that is such an amazing story, Heather, because like I'm sure when you guys laid them off, it was probably like goodbye hugs. Like, I'm so sorry, and to be able to bring them back, especially if this says a lot about your guys' company. Number one, you guys had to do something that you didn't want to do. Number two, you brought them back, and these people wanted to come back and work for you, right? So you guys are doing something right.
Absolutely. We actually had, when we laid everyone off, I'm not going to lie, I was bawling my eyes out. This is the last thing that I ever wanted to do. our employees started posting on Facebook, "We don't want a stimulus check. We want to come back to work." And it gets me choked up every time.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because truly, like my whole goal is always to have a company that people have that connection, right? Like I want uh, employees that feel like family, and vice versa, right? I don't want that, like that weird like hierarchy, like you're the boss, so I gotta like treat you like the boss. No, like just do what you're supposed to do, and we can be great friends, and I can love your family just like they're my family, and I watched your kids grow up since they were little, you know what I mean? That whole story, which I know you have probably tons of them considering how long you guys have had employees. So that's an amazing story. Like I would never expected that.
That's how we are here at Sky. While the employees were laid off, they'd stop by to say hi, and we kept in contact with us. It was great. They knew we didn't want to do it. And we've created a culture at Sky Heating where we are a family, and we
Yeah.
expect a lot, and we expect you to work hard, and we expect you to get your job done, but we also take really good care of our employees.
There's something said for that, right? I'm sure you've seen in consulting businesses when you guys are looking at behind the scenes, you guys open up that, pull back that curtain and you start looking and you're going, so you've been saying you have a high turnover rate, but I see here on your books that you guys only pay your techs blah 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 amount of money. Like that's like, that's not enough money. Like if you want to like not have this turnover, take care of your people, right? And I know there's tons of studies out there that talk about paying a higher rate of pay in order to prevent a lot of that turnover, because at the end of the day, hiring is expensive. And so if you have to replace that employee instead of just giving that employee a raise or whatever, and you have to go out and go through that whole process and probably not get a better an employee that's a better employee than the one that you just lost because you're being cheap, right?
Oh, exactly. And if you think about it, what is the most important asset a company has? It's its employees.
Yeah.
And you also have fixed costs with a business. So you've got direct expenses, which is your direct guys that are in the field installing. That has to do with cost of goods sold. But then you've got your overhead employees, and you've got to pay them well.
Yeah.
But then you have fixed cost of overhead. So the way that we've combated that is we pay our employees fair market wages, but we also incentivize them if they, upsell an indoor air quality product, or we give them opportunities to earn commission and to earn spiffs. And if they want to work a weekend, we pay a pretty hefty spiff and give the employees opportunities. And that's kind of the way we see ourselves. We provide opportunities for employees to make themselves better. And we take good care of them. I mean, we paid their health insurance while they were laid off so that they didn't have to go without health insurance.
Especially because that's a scary period of time to go without health insurance. Not saying that there's a good time, but when the country's in a pandemic, or I should say the world is in a pandemic, probably not the best time to be like, you know what, I'm going to roll the dice on this one.
No, and that's what we didn't want. We wanted the employees to know, like, we're sorry, we have to reorganize right now and figure out how we're going to combat this COVID thing. But the last thing we wanted was for them to get sick. If they did, thankfully, none of our employees have gotten sick. But if they did and they didn't have health insurance, what does that say about like how we're taking care of them?
True, right? It kind of shows you how much your quote unquote parents love you. Right? I mean, it's kind of like your parents, right? Like when you like were working, it sounds like you guys are kind of like that family, Travis, and you were like the mom and dad, and you got your little birdies there, and like, nope, no health insurance for you. We don't care enough, right?
Well, that was what was kind of crazy is Travis and I were in Baton Rouge when the governor shut the state down.
Yeah, I was in Dallas. Actually,
all of our employees were calling like, mom and dad are gone, and shit's hitting the fan.
yeah, totally. And I was in Dallas at a conference as well, and they had shut international flights down, and I'm going, okay, like it's just a matter of time before domestic I was expecting to get shut down. So here I am doing calculations of like, okay, how long is it going to take me to rent a car and drive back to Portland? Right? I don't know if you guys got to that spot yet, but I went into panic mode. I'm like, I got to get back home. I can't be stuck in Dallas.
Well, we did, and we didn't know what was happening. So we flew back to Portland on Friday after the governor shut the state down.
Mm-hmm.
And we got stuck in Dallas, Fort Worth. We boarded the plane, we got onto the tarmac, and all of a sudden the pilot comes over the top or the loudspeaker and he said, they've grounded 70 planes. We don't know when we're going to take off. That's all he.
I think we might have been on the same flight because I flew out of Dallas Fort Worth that Friday at it was sometime in the morning.
We were in the flight. That's crazy.
We were stuck on the tarmac forever
for 2 hours, and we didn't know, are they going to make us get off the plane? Did they shut the flights down due to COVID? It ended up being because of weather.
Yeah, but hot. Like they can't regulate the AC in that stupid thing. It's 100 degrees out in Dallas already. Yeah, what a mess. Yeah, that's crazy. If that was actually true, the same plane. I don't remember who I flew home with, because I think I did one of those fly down there on Southwest and get Alaska home, or I don't know. It was one of those cheaper packages to do it like that. So, I mean, you got a ton of knowledge. You've been how long have you had your hands in we'll just call it business in general?
22 years.
Okay. So you have 22 years of experience. If I wanted to start, we'll just say a new company, HVAC doesn't have to be an HVAC company, but what is one piece of advice that you give me? Because I think a lot of business owners out there that are thinking about starting a business, be either HVAC or just business in general, I think one of the most powerful things when I started my first company here 9 years ago was just those little pieces of advice from people who have been doing it for, 20 plus years or 30 years or 40 years, or even yourself at 22. I mean, that's a ton of experience. So is there one piece of advice that you would give somebody?
Well, like you and I had talked about before, hiring a business coach is invaluable because you don't know what you don't know. And then the next thing is, once you figure out what you don't know, hire somebody who does know how to do it. And you either learn from them or you hire somebody who knows how to do it, and that becomes an employee of your company. But the scariest thing that I've run into in the consulting, and before I worked for Sky Heating, I did consulting as well for 10 years. Business owners can't grow if they don't have the right processes and procedures in place and their financials are incorrect.
Yeah.
And so once you can get those pieces aligned out for a business owner, then they have at least a roadmap to start from. But starting a business, you need some sort of a coach, whether it's somebody that who has a lot of business experience, or somebody who does like what Travis and I and several other people in the industry do, just to get your feet on the ground and moving forward.
Yeah. So if I was starting new in business, do you guys have kind of an approximate amount that you would tell a person to set aside to pay a business coach? I'm the guy, I'm just starting a company and I'm sketching down my business plan on a pad of paper. How much should I set aside? Is it a monthly amount? Is it a yearly amount? So that, because for me as a marketer, I always have a set amount that I always tell people, like, you need at least $500 to probably $1,000 set aside per month for marketing dollars. Is there a set amount for like business coaching, or like somebody, if I wanted to hire you as a company, like to come and help us with a startup, is there a certain amount that you say set aside?
I'd say a minimum of 15,000. I mean, you're gonna need a good marketing person, but if you don't know anything about business, you're not even gonna know where to
you won't even get to marketing or you're just gonna be wasting it.
Yeah, but 15,000 for the first year is probably a good start, but it's something that is not just a one-time thing. As you start a business, you need help getting it off the ground. Once you get it off the ground, you need help moving it forward. Once you move it forward, you need help learning how to grow it properly. Yeah.
So it's just this, like, it's 15, like a business coach, in your personal opinion, isn't like, it's somebody that you keep on retainer for a while, right? It's not just like, oh, my first year, I'm done. Like, it's something that, because you're constantly, if you're a good business, you're constantly evolving to where it's like, okay, I don't really know how to do I learned all the first level stuff from my business coach. I don't know how to do that second level stuff, but thankfully I have my business coach. Isn't that your opinion? Like, you gotta kind of keep this guy all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why, 15,000 is the bare minimum just to get you started. But
Yeah.
it's a continual investment, and you're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars over the years as you grow, if you want to grow.
Yeah, I mean, there's companies out there that don't want to grow, but for the most part, I think those are the people that are the chuck and the trucks that have a hard time just even paying themselves enough, right? Because you're trying to be everything. I find that, I mean, a lot of times, like I'm such a big proponent of telling people, if you're going to get in business, to make sure that you have somewhat of a game plan to bring employees on, because there's at some point you just can't be the cook and the dishwasher and the host and the waitress and bartender and all those positions, because it just gets like it's merely impossible to do all those jobs and also make a decent living.
It is. And the one chuck and a trucks usually don't know how to price themselves appropriately.
Yeah.
They don't understand opportunity cost, and they can't figure out why they're not making any money.
So majority of time, Chuck in the truck's probably winning a lot of jobs. He's doing a lot more jobs, but probably getting paid half of what the marketplace is charging. So
yeah, with twice the liability.
Yeah, right. Plus I'm Chuck in the truck, and I'm only that one guy. Now in order for me to make the same amount of money as a company that really knows what's going on, I got to go do 2 jobs to make for that one. Plus I'm running all over the city to do it. Right.
Well, yeah, very true. And a one chuck in a truck who's going to do what, $350,000 of revenue in a year isn't going to have the buying power as a $10 million company.
Yeah, true.
So they're paying more for equipment and supplies because they don't have the buying power, and that can limit their ability to grow. And then if they have a breakdown in their one truck, then you have to reschedule all those customers. It's tough to start out just as a one-man show.
Yeah, you mean as a Chuck in the truck, I can't get myself my own branded Chuck AC units to install like you guys over there at Sky? Right?
Well, you could. I don't know how much money you'd make.
I don't know where I'd store them either, because I'm just one guy, to get a warehouse. So tell me something that even maybe some of your closest friends may not know about Heather that might shock them.
I am obsessed with cheesy shark movies.
Oh, like
I've seen every single cheesy shark movie, every single not cheesy shark movie, 47 Meters Down, the first one and the second one, all the Sharknadoes, Jaws 1, 2, 3, 4, Jaws the Revenge, Trailer Park Shark, Arctic Shark, Shark in Prison. I've seen every cheesy shark movie that I can get my hands on.
Wow. And do a lot of your friends know this? I mean, I know you, it sounds like the folks in the office know about this crazy obsession, but do a lot of your friends know, like, that you're connected with?
No. But the gals in the office do, because I have a big sign on my door that, do sharks complain about Mondays? No.
Oh my God, right? Right? I love how they replace shark with that. That's funny. Well, guess what, Heather? Your friends now that are going to watch the podcast, they know now.
The gals in the office joke around with me all the time. They're like, I'm the Bubba Gump of shark movies.
Sharks. Oh my God. Did they, with my insurance agency, on a farmer's agency, the farmers jingle, the bottom bottom bump bump or whatever. We are farmers, bump 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 bump. Right?
Yeah.
So there's a button that we have actually at my office that you touch and it does that bump 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 bump. They need to find a button that does the Jaws theme for you. Dun, dun, dun. So when you walk into the office, they just hit it and dun, 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 Heather's arrived. You're
all right, my friends who are listening, I want a shark button.
Yeah. Or maybe they can just download the file on their phone, and then when you walk in, they just play it for you. It's totally just obsession, total high level obsession there. So final question: if you were on death row, what would be your last meal?
My last meal would be 1 ounce of A5 Wagyu beef, from Boss Taurus with a 4-ounce prime rib steak and sauteed Brussels sprouts.
You guys hear that? This girl knows what a girl wants. Like, she didn't hesitate. There was no hesitation there. She knew exactly the weight and everything. Wow. That's amazing, Heather. So if somebody is interested in either having you guys do some service for the HVAC company, if somebody's looking for some consultation, let me just make sure that we're clear and the audience is clear. For consulting, you guys just consult and coach other HVAC companies, is that correct?
Non-competing HVAC companies, plumbing and electrical, and any service-based company.
Okay, so you will work with a roofer.
Yeah, we're open to working with other contractors. We just don't do it through the summertime a whole lot because we're running Sky Heating and this is our harvest season.
Yeah, it's Christmas time over there at Sky Heating.
It is.
Especially when it's been, sitting around several 100-degree temperature days here in Portland, which if anybody's listening that's from Phoenix, they're probably laughing at us. They're like, dude, come on, man. That's like that's chill down here. But for us in the Northwest, the other morning on my walk, it was like, I want to say like 55. And then the next day it was, the hottest was 100. It's like, come on, just give us some time to regulate our blood. But I know you guys are loving it over there, right? You're like, yeah, whoo, ching ching.
Heat is the smell of money, is what Travis always says.
Oh, Travis, geez, he knows exactly, right? You're in the right business. If heat is the smell of money, I love it. But okay, so you guys will work with any service-based people, just not in the summer. That's great to know. So I guess what I want to find out is what's the best way for anybody to reach out to you guys, either if they want to work with you with the HVAC side of things, with getting a new unit installed or service within the Portland and the Gorge area. How do they get in touch with you guys?
Our phone number is 503-235-9083. That's the best number that rings into our Tualatin office. We manage everything from Tualatin. And we run the Dow shop from Tualatin. It's more of like a satellite office in another market that we serve.
Yeah.
If you have questions, you can email me at heather@skyheating.com.
Cool. And then are you guys on any of the social platforms?
We are on Facebook and Instagram, and that's it. Mostly Facebook, some Instagram.
Okay. So where do they find you at Facebook? Is it Sky Heating? Sky Heating.
.com.
Not .com on Facebook. It's just Sky Heating, right?
Oh, on Facebook.
Facebook, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then if they're interested in working with you guys on the consulting side, how do they reach out or get more information?
Shoot me an email, or you can call my cell phone, which is 503-407-5846.
Right on. Right on. Any other thing that you want to chat about? I know we've been on for I don't know, a little over a half hour, almost 40 minutes. Any shout outs you want to give out there?
Shout out to you, Spencer. Shout out to Uncle Joe.
Oh, Uncle Joe. Yeah. Maybe we'll get Uncle Joe to watch the podcast. We have him scheduled to come on here, I think next week. So it should be an interesting conversation. So
Uncle Joe is incredible. He has taken our sales team to the next level.
Love to hear that.
So I highly recommend him for anybody who's looking to revamp and get their sales team going and taking off like wildfire.
Is Uncle Joe have some responsibility for your guys' highest sales month there in June?
Yes, he does.
You guys hear that? If you're in the HVAC business, it sounds like Uncle Joe is he's making people have record company months. So that's amazing. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. But if you guys have a desire to be featured on Plant Powered Marketing's podcast, we're constantly looking for contractors just to share value and share knowledge. So I appreciate you coming on, Heather.
Thank you so much for having me on, Spencer. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. See ya.